Everyone, welcome to this second video on lesson 17 of the sound and light scheme. This is the second video on color filters, and again I'm going to try and go through some slightly harder examples for students who really want to push themselves, and I'll start with the example of a banana. So I'm going to draw my banana in here like this with my very nice pastel thingy, oil pastel. And I'm going to draw my incoming light, and again this is building on something that was covered in the previous lesson, but only for those students who really want to push themselves, and that was this idea that contrary to how we think about it in art, where the primary colours are red, yellow, blue, in science we think of the primary colours of light as red, green and blue. And actually, the colour that we perceive as yellow isn't a primary colour, it's actually a mix of red and green light. So the first thing I can do is just recap then. If I was doing this in the lesson on colour filters, I can just recap and say, well, okay, let's do this with... I'm just going to draw it out here to save my pen from going on the oil pastels. So what's happening here is that because this is a yellow object, this is just recapping from the previous lesson right now. I've not introduced filters at all, but any yellow object is going to absorb all of the blue light, and it's going to reflect all of the red and the green light. So I can add some arrows coming in here like this to show that these two have been reflected. Now the first thing I could do is imagine, okay, let's imagine I'm going to view this banana. Now I'm going to look at this banana through a green filter. I'll add a label here, green filter. Let's imagine I'm going to view that banana through a green filter. What colour is it going to appear? And again, you can just build on what you were doing with the simpler examples and say, well, I know what a green filter does. It absorbs all the red and it transmits all of the green. So in this case, this green is going to be transmitted. So if you're to ask then, what colour does a yellow banana appear when viewed through a green filter? Well, it appears to be green because the only light that's reaching the eye is the green light. The blue light was absorbed by the banana and the red light was absorbed by the green filter. Now another example you could look at, let's imagine let's imagine I've bought myself a nice magenta shirt. This is not a perfect magenta actually. Magenta is a kind of pinky purple, but anyway, this'll do for now. So imagine I've got myself a nice magenta shirt. So what I can do is show students again the three colours of light that are entering. So you end up doing a lot of pen switching in these lessons. So if I draw my red light coming in, my green light coming in, and my blue light coming in. Now if this really was magenta, what would be happening is that all of the green light would be absorbed by the magenta, by the shirt or t-shirt in this case. So what would be reflected from here would be the blue and the red. So let's imagine I viewed this one through a green filter. Well, in this case, neither the red or the blue would be transmitted, they would both be absorbed. I'm going to add a label here for the green filter. And therefore what would reach the eye? Well, no light at all. And therefore my lovely magenta t-shirt when viewed through a green filter would appear to be black because no light would reach the eye. Now you can probably see, you can come up with your own examples for these. You can come up with a million examples, all different combinations of different filters and so on. The ones I haven't done in the slides, which you might wish to do, is these are a bit more ambitious, but to do something a bit like a yellow filter. So a yellow filter would allow red and green to pass through, but it wouldn't allow blue to pass through. Or you could also do a cyan filter or a magenta filter. So all of those things, you could do examples about these. And again, the point I would stress, which I stressed in the previous video on this lesson, is that what's important here is a little bit about filters, and that might be useful if students are going to go and do optics later on. Really, what's more important is that they're just being given the opportunity to apply these logical rules and really think rigorously about what's going on. And it's hard, but it's also quite satisfying and enjoyable. And students, in my experience, have tended to really enjoy this lesson. So I'll leave it there. If you wish to do these examples, please go for it. If not, I think it would be absolutely fine to move on to the electromagnetic spectrum, which will be at the next lesson.